This is the story of founder Edith Motte Young, one of 22 remarkable women with the vision to establish Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Edith Lucille Motte was born in Charleston, South Carolina in 1891 to William McKinley Motte and Emma Carey Holmes Motte. The family moved to Denmark, South Carolina in Bamberg County when Edith was a young child. Listen as founder Young confirms her story with granddaughter Catherine Young in a 1973 interview.
Holmes. All right, so what is your father's name? Your father's name.
William McKinley Motte.
And what's your mother's name?
Emma Carey Holmes Motte.
Oh.
Well, I started to say about the house where Mabel and I were born. But the Bryans have moved out. I don't know whether the house is still...
Well, was it a very big house?
Yes.
And what's the name of the town? Sumter?
Charleston.
Born in Charleston, were you?
I was born in Charleston.
Oh.
Mother's first 4 or 5 children were born in Charleston.
And then you moved to Sumter?
Moved to Denmark, not Sumter.
Oh, Denmark.
Jesse's in Sumter now.
Oh. What was the name of the street you lived on?
Where?
In Charleston.
Grandma Holmes goes back to Henrietta Street, which is way down near the water.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know Henrietta Street. I know Grandma Holmes was on Warren Street. And just Warren Street crossed King Street is the main street that runs from the Battery, from the water, right on up north. See, goes to Denmark, South Carolina. That's railroad.
So you lived in Denmark most of your childhood life?
Oh yes, all of my childhood life.
So you went to elementary school there?
Yes.
And where is Claflin?
Huh?
Where is Claflin?
Claflin is in Orangeburg, South Carolina.
Did you live in Denmark and still went to Claflin, or
Yes.
did you move or live in Claflin?
No, I went to Claflin. It's a boarding school.
Well, how
We
did
lived
you...
in the dormitory with the girls, just like everybody else. I
Well,
had
did
Mabel with me there first few years.
Well, and you don't know when you graduated from high school, or how old you were?
I could easily find out. I graduated in 13. No, I graduated in 10.
1910.
10. And finished Howard in 13.
Edith Motte entered Howard University as a freshman in 1910. A serious and involved student, she is registered as a sophomore the following year and a senior the next year, completing the requirements for the AB degree in 3 years. She served as sophomore class secretary and was active in the Literary Society and the YWCA.
So, and they even sent you through Howard University?
Huh?
They even could afford to send you to Howard?
Yes.
Did you live there in Washington, D.C. in a dormitory?
In the dormitory with the other girls.
And you were studying in education as your major?
No.
What was your major?
My major was math. That's what I loved.
I didn't know that.
I loved math. And anything was at both Voorhees Industrial School and Claflin, I was known. In fact, the last year I was at Claflin, Professor Boyce, my teacher in math, he gave me the class for Boyce to teach. And that helped me so much.
Founder Edith Motte was also involved with Alpha Kappa Alpha, the the only recognized sorority on Howard University's campus. She was elected secretary of that organization in 1912. On January 13, 1913, Edith Motte, along with 21 other women, founded Delta Sigma Theta sorority. She was the first recording secretary of the new organization. Founder Edith Motte is pictured here, second row, center. Following graduation, founder Edith Motte returned to South Carolina and Claflin University in Orangeburg. She was appointed teacher of English. She was a full-time faculty member at the university for 4 years. She also remained active in the Young Women's Christian Association. Edith Motte reconnected with a fellow staff member, Perry Henry Young, a teacher and tailor, a young man she had known when both were high school students at Claflin. They would marry in 1917 and over the next 2 years live on base in Beaufort, South Carolina, live in the city of Spartanburg, and return to Orangeburg and Claflin University. This is a copy of the birth certificate of Perry Henry Young, Jr. He was born at home in Orangeburg in 1919. Note mother's information. In 1920, the family moved to Youngstown, Ohio. In the audio, founder Young describes Youngstown as a working place. A few years later, the family moved to Oberlin, Ohio, a place with purpose, she says. They purchased a home next to the elementary school on Pleasant Street in Oberlin. Here was the plan as she describes it to her granddaughter.
Why did you decide to move there?
Oberlin had a good reputation, and because of the college, that's it. And not only a college, but a conservatory.
What?
Children. I was looking ahead. I didn't have money to send my children off, do you understand? To pay for, they'd have to go to school right at home. They'd have to live in home. Mm-hmm. See?
Yeah. So who went there? Which of your children?
All of them.
Son Perry Henry Young, Jr., aviator, World War II pilot trainer with the United States Army Air Corps at Tuskegee. First black commercial pilot in the United States to fly a regularly scheduled airline. Daughter Farrah Holmes Young Foster, a graduate of the Oberlin Conservatory of Music and New York University. She was a music educator in Oberlin schools, at Bennett College, North Carolina, and in New York City schools. Daughter Bernice Motte Young Rousseau, a graduate of the Oberlin Conservatory and Juilliard, musician, teacher, U.S. representative in the European Culture Exchange known as the Marshall Plan. William Walton Young, an original Tuskegee Airman, flight engineer, instructor, aircraft and engine inspector, and aircraft mechanic. Founder Edith Motte Young was so proud of each of her children. Founder Edith Motte Young and Perry Henry Young Sr. moved to 1450 Union Street, Brooklyn, New York in the late 1940s. She is on the stoop with her extended family, top row, second from left. While in New York, Founder Young reconnected with her sorors. Founder Young participated in Founders Day celebrations and regional and national sorority programs, showing broad support for Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Incorporated. Important was her role as charter member, Brooklyn Alumni Chapter, chartered 1949 as Delta Gamma Sigma Chapter, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Incorporated. Founder Young and her husband moved to Pine Bush, New York in the late 1950s. They sought a different environment where she and her husband could lead healthier, quieter lives. And Pine Bush provided just that. They celebrated their marriage and welcomed their children and grandchildren to their home in the country. Listen to the loving letter to granddaughter Catherine Young.
Dear Catherine, today is another milestone in your precious life. Wish I could be with you to kiss you good morning. But alas, I am more than 100 miles away. However, we here trust the day will be perfect with nothing to dampen your joy and happiness. We here feel very wealthy indeed. 5 granddaughters and 4 grandsons. Hoping that this birthday will be your nicest yet and leave many memories too pleasant to forget. Your grandfather and grandmother. One of my favorite memories of grandmother is of her having me sit on the floor in front of her and combing and oiling my hair. I would watch her hands with their veins and wrinkles and feel so good. I loved those hands. The woods surrounding their home held abundant mysteries and was the source of many adventures for us. The grape arbor on the hill next to the house provided grapes to be used in the lovely jam grandmother would preserve. After grandfather passed and grandmother broke her hip, she moved from Pine Bush and lived briefly in a small nursing home near her son on Long Island. She passed shortly afterward. Grandmother's ashes were spread in the Pine Bush woods that she loved, along with those of grandfather and other family members. There is no gravesite. These precious childhood memories of grandmother will forever stay with me. My hope is to be as positive an influence and role model in my family members' lives as she was in mine.
Founder Edith Lucille Motte Young. Teacher, mother, grandmother, and one of the 22 founders of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Incorporated. Special thanks to granddaughters Linda Edith Young Barbera and Catherine Lucille Young, and great-granddaughter Willow Young for the wealth of information, photos, and support for our project.